Next up, we are about to shave off 2 to 3/16 off of both these sides to see if we can get some gears besides that. Because, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to try that stuff. We'll be right back and see what we got. And yes, it does look like this is all resolved. I've got this now very tight. I'm not going to show you, unfortunately, because it's one person, one camera, one hand. But I have been able to get this over into 5th and 6th. And I marked it here. Pretty sure I got it also into reverse. So everything seems good. With that said, we will move on to what the goal is of this video. The purpose of this video is to follow these steps. Paper might be a little shaky, but whatever. These are the steps from the people that made the adapter for the transmission to the engine. My goal is to get said transmission, said engine, back together, but this time with the flywheel and the plates to pull things away from the engine, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of steps. And my goal is to put everything back together and maybe get it back in the damn engine bay. Probably not, but let's at least get things back together, because now that I'm thinking about it, there's still a lot of other crap to do. But let's just go with getting things together, talking about it as we go, so on and so forth. Let's get going. Next up in the instructions are to cut this, trim out this area. That will allow the starter to engage the flywheel. And since there's really not a lot of space, we're not going to show you that, but just assume it's going to be done. And here we are, next stage. Flywheel is on. Cleaned it up a little from all the year of sitting. Everything's tightened down. As you can tell here, we'll get you nice and zoomed in there, kind of. So, flex plate, there we go. Flywheel. They appear lined up, but just weird to me. I have the flex plate on there the way that it came off the engine. If I'd flipped it around, it wouldn't have went on, so whatever. It just seems weird because the teeth here, let's get my finger there, they're welded onto the plate underneath. None of the steps indicate to modify the flex plate. Because it wouldn't have surprised me if okay, yeah, we're just trying to push things out a little bit, so maybe cut off the ring gear, or I think it's called ring gear. So this is still here for now. I'm not going to mess with it. Instructions don't seem to mention it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Anyway, got this in here. Got the pilot bearing. Smashed the living shit into there. Had it in the freezer for like 2 hours. Came out here and used a rubber mallet. And then I also used a rubber mallet to rest against here while taking a sledgehammer, 4 pounds, against it. And I believe I have it as far in as it can go. Unfortunately, it seems like it, but I can't fully tell. Let's see if I can get some light. Ryobi to the rescue. I think therefore I am. Oh, pray not. Shrink this down a little. Can we see anything? So yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. But you know, I guess these are all fears you have when you're trying something new. And it's not like just, hey, I can just follow all these steps online or find a YouTube video. I don't believe there's much in the way of doing this. There's a few different adapters as it is for this engine type here. So, you know, with the small market of people that are going to be doing this type of swap, and then you leave in there that there's a couple different variations. Either way, maybe you guys will see this video before I've actually installed the engine and transmission into the car. And if that's the case, feel free to comment. If not, let's move on to, I'm going to put that adapter plate right there onto this engine. And then I'm going to slide the transmission on. So we'll be back with the two mated up. Hooray, let's go. Small little stopgap. Here's the clutch. Pretty sure I've shown it before, but still, like, all I've ever seen are stock or stock type clutches. So seeing it broken out like this is just like, I hope it's not a pain in the butt to drive. Anyway, the kit came with the alignment tool. Clutch is on. Next will be pressure plate, which I'll just show you real quick. Again, I've had these things for like over a year, so I will be using like a Scotch. I'll just be cleaning that up using like a green washing, like something just to clean it all up. But yeah, install that, put that on there. Let's see if that all goes well. Yay! More observations of a wannabe mechanic taking on a task probably too big for him. I've done 2 clutches in my life. One on my son's car, stock. One on my old track. I was taking off the clutch a previous owner had put on. And I put it back on when I swapped the motor. This is the first time, and it may be common, I don't know. This thing, it's got the dowels to align it. I could only get one easily to fit. The other ones seemed just slightly off where I ended up having to tap it on. A little bit of tapping and then a little bit of screwing the bolts in. Got it all nice and secure. It was weird for me. I mean, so I don't know. Clutch is in there. Pressure plate's on there. I'm just hoping that was just an anomaly or cold weather. I mean, I've had this thing sitting for a year, so it's cold now, so maybe that's it. I don't know. But let's hope the next time I'm coming back on this video is with that thing, making sweet, sweet automotive love to that thing. Let's find out. Here's a quick little correction. Every time I was tightening this down, seemed like it would just keep tightening, but then I realized this was also going back and back and back. Then I finally realized after I had to pull the trans back off because I was like, just something didn't seem right. Took it apart, realized that this was pressing against the gear. And on top of that, like, I would have never been able to start it. So I took everything apart. I got this fully seated now versus last you saw. But after I did some research, found something, some guy was doing this in like 2016, 2017. He had a similar problem that this was pressing in too far and yada yada. And what he found to get things to sit properly was there's the spacer, like when you, whatever, a spacer like this that traditionally was on the back of the flywheel or the flex plate. And then he put that there, flex plate, this, you know, so a second one of those, and then this thing reversed. So it gave it just enough space that this will not press against, and this will keep enough space from the starter to prevent any binding, which is one of the issues I was seeing. So I'm just back to show that this is installed differently now, and this should be the correct way. This is not how Collins has it documented, and I'm wondering if, well, actually, I'm not sure, because there is no comfortable way that this would work with just the spacer, flex plate, and this thing. I feel like this other spacer is going to be needed, so that way it doesn't bind up here. And I don't know if maybe in some cases they've pushed the starter back further or whatever, but this is the path I'm going. Not my idea, but someone else stumbled across this and it worked for them and it makes a lot of sense, so that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, now back to the end of this video. And guess what? First date went well. They have consummated things here. At least I hope so correctly. I won't actually get to find out until I've put it in there, hooked up the haul tech, yada, yada, yada. So I've got some time before I find out if this is right. But what I believe is right is shifter works. That has 7 bolts holding it to the blah, 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 adapter plate. And then there's 6 or 8 bolts holding the adapter plate to the engine. Everything else looks pretty enough. You know, all fresh wires and all that jazz. With that said, I'm going to call this video because I don't even know how long it is. But next video will be something, you know, engine bay or installing this or something. I don't know. But if you come back and find out, thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.